electricity generation service provider for Alameda County and the city of Tracy, providing clean, renewable energy at low rates. If you are a customer, that means that your city council voted to have EBCE provide services to you. The good news is that EBCE has rates to save money every month. We offer programs to reduce your energy usage, and we get most of our supply from clean, renewable energy. In this webinar, I'll explain how billing works as an EBCE customer. Feel free to pull your PG&E bill out during this video to follow along. So why is EBCE your energy provider? East Bay Community Energy serves your city because your city council voted unanimously to join our Joint Powers Authority. Our 15-member cities joined because EBCE helps cities meet their climate action plan goals without adding any costs or raising taxes. It is important to inform all customers that per state law, this is an automatic enrollment to our services, unless the customer decides to opt out. If this is the first time you're hearing about EBCE, we recommend that you go to our website or give us a call to better inform yourselves of our services. So what are your options? EBCE offers 3 different service options. Bright Choice is at least 5% more renewable energy than the state requires at rates 1% below PG&E. Brilliant 100 is 100% carbon-free energy from solar, wind, and hydropower at the same rates as PG&E. Renewable 100 is 100% California solar and wind energy at 1 cent per kilowatt hour above PG&E rates. As an EBCE customer, you are able to opt up or opt down to any of our 3 service options. You may also opt out anytime and return to PG&E's bundled service. So how does it work? So if there's one piece of information that you retain from this presentation, it's on the slide. Billing from PG&E. You get a single bill each month from PG&E that includes EBCE charges. It's not an additional charge. EBCE charges replace the generation charges that PG&E used to charge you. It's not a new or additional charge compared to what you used to pay. Receive a monthly credit. As an EBCE customer, PG&E issues a generation credit each month. That credit is the amount PG&E would have charged you for generation services, and it completely offsets EBCE charges. So understanding your bill. So here's what the first page of a PG&E bill with EBCE service looks like. Before joining EBCE, customers would see one line item for electric charges. That charge was a combination of electric generation, which pays for the power plants, and electric delivery, which pays for the transmission and distribution of power. As an EBCE customer, that charge is split into 2, electric generation and electric delivery. It is important to note that electric generation is not an additional charge. Instead of paying PG&E for generating electricity, EBCE will now be providing that service. Here are the details of the PG&E electric delivery charges. At the top, you can see that the customer's rate schedule, in this case, it is a time of use schedule. This is the time of use rate in which rates are higher between 4 through 9 p.m. Moving down the page, the baseline allowance appears because TLUC is a tiered rate structure, which gives customers an allowance of some units of electricity each month for low rates. Under the energy charges line, you can see that there's a peak and off-peak usage for that month. Peak is energy used during the hours of 4 through 9 p.m., and off-peak is energy used any other time. The generation credit represents what PG&E would have charged you for generation services if you were not on EBCE service. You can see that the generation credit has been subtracted from this portion of the bill because EBCE is now in charge of generating the electricity. The generation credit completely offsets EBCE charges and the additional fees I'll discuss now. Remember the $48.02? It's the additional amount PG&E would have charged this customer if they were now on EBCE service. The power charge indifferent adjustment and franchise fee are additional charges to EBCE customers, but EBCE rates are set low enough so that even after paying these fees, your PG&E bill will be lower on EBCE's Bright Choice service compared to being on PG&E's bundled service. Now we have the East Bay Community Energy page of the PG&E bill. As you can see, we show you rate schedule. In this case, it is a TOUC customer, as well as the service option you are in with EBCE, which is Bright Choice in this case. We show PG&E's power charge and different adjustment and the state's franchise fee here so that customers can see that EBCE rates are covering those costs. You can also see that we have added the Bright Choice discount as a line item to show how much the customer has saved this month on EBCE's Bright Choice service. At the bottom of the slide, you can see the formula we use to calculate the savings for our customers. To do so, take the generation credit from PG&E. Remember the $48.02 from the previous page? It is the amount you would have paid PG&E for generation service. Compare that to the amount you did pay for generation service, which is the sum of the power charge and different adjustment, which is $20.44, the franchise fee surcharge, which is 24 cents, and EBCE net charges, which is $26.86 here. Ignore the local utility users tax and energy commission tax because you will pay those regardless of who provides your electricity. In this example, the customer saved 48 cents this month, which is displayed on the bill as Bright Choice. If the customer was on our Brilliant 100 service, they would not see this line item because their bill would be exactly the same cost as PG&E's bundled bill. If a customer was on our Renewable 100 service, you would see a line item with an additional charge of 1 cent per kilowatt hour or $4.70 for this customer. So thank you for tuning into this presentation. We'll be taking questions at the moment, so please ask away. So I'm gonna go to the chat option, see who's asking a question. So we have the, how do you calculate or understand this if you have solar? Would you like to cover this, Kelly or Gabrielle?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Jonathan. I'll jump in here. Jonathan, we earlier this year, and William as well has the same question. So we did a very similar presentation to this one focused on NEM customers back in March, and Gabrielle just posted a link to the chat. You go to that website and you scroll down, there's Introduction to EBCE for Solar Net Energy Metering Customers. There you'll hear Gabrielle talk through the slides and go through the same material in more detail specific for NEM customers.
Let's see if there's any questions in the Q&A. No questions. What do you guys think? Should we keep on waiting or?
I think it looks like questions are answered. Oh, here's a good question about true up. Kelly, you want to cover that?
The true up, I would actually prefer to, I would like to recommend that William review the presentation that we gave back in March, just because there's a lot of visuals in there. You may also want to contact our call center at the phone number and the email that's up here. If you're still confused, by all means, you can reach out again to us directly. I do see we are seeing some additional NEM questions. That is a pretty different presentation. As NEM customers are probably aware, their bill does look a little bit different. And if they are NEM customers that are in our new communities in Tracy, Pleasanton, or Newark, they would have just gone through the true-up with PG&E and then joined EBCE. So that also may be why it looks a little bit different.
So we have a question here from Linda Kelly saying, my billing cycle is not coinciding with the switch to EBCE?
Linda, I don't quite understand that, unless maybe if your meter read and billing cycle aren't the same, which can happen for customers that have multiple meters. You may have a summary bill that has, let's say you have a property somewhere else, and you get one summary bill. You may see that. And that's where it wouldn't be, the switch would have happened concurrent with your meter read cycle, not your billing cycle, if that makes sense. Linda, do feel free to. Linda says, as a result, I only have half a bill from EBCE and the bill is very confusing indeed. That does sound confusing, Linda. If I don't recommend you put your any of your contact information in the chat feature right here, since this is visible to other people as well. But I do recommend you can reach out to us and we can take a look at that.
Also, I would recommend our call center is actually still open right now.
Yeah, they are.
If you call them, you can get someone and they can pull your bill up and take a look at it, now, or, they're open there are people live there from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Weekdays.
Mm-hmm.
So we have another question.
Yeah,
from
I was just going to say
Sharon.
that the phone number is displayed on this slide. So if you call that number, that's our call center.
So we have a question from Sharon. She said, I am in Pleasanton. I thought I should go to EBCE on April 1st, but PG&E goes through mid-April. I am on NEM. Would that make sense? She said.
Yeah, so that actually, regardless if you're on NEM or not on NEM, that does make a lot of sense. When we say that you switch in April, that means that we begin to serve you right after your April meter read. So folks, your meter read, Sharon, is probably sometime mid-month. We don't always think about these things, but everyone's meters are read all throughout the entire month. So my bill typically happens to be read around the 10th of the month. So in my case, if I lived in Newark, let's say, I would have been with PG&E until my meter was read on April 10th. And then after that, I would have switched to EBCE service, which means that then when I receive my bill, that's April 10th to like May 10th, then I would see that bill has EBCE on it. So when we say it's in the month of April, it is really, we were adding new customers to our service all throughout the month.
I see that Gabrielle's typing an answer, but maybe we can just answer it live. How to change the rate schedule? So how can this individual change the rate schedule? Yeah,
so your rate schedule is with, there's two different things here you may be asking about. So the first is if you wanted to change your EBCE product choice, you can do that using the tools that are on the screen right now. Those, our call center or email, or you can go to our website, ebce.org, and change your plan. If you wanted to be with, let's say you wanted to opt up to Renewable 100. Your rate schedule, though, let's say that you are on ETOUC, you're on the time of use rate where it's higher from 4 to 9 p.m. and you just bought an electric vehicle and you want to change to the electric vehicle rate. You would log into pge.com or contact their call center to change your rate. PG&E also houses a rate analysis tool where they'll tell you, they'll look at your past usage over the past 12 months. And based on that usage, they'll estimate for you what is the best rate for you to be on, assuming that you use energy the very same way next year. So the rate changes are handled through pge.com. And EBCE, I'll just add a little bit more to that. So let's say that you do that change, right? You change to EV2A because you've got an electric vehicle. PG&E will change their part of your rate. They'll change the transmission and distribution, the delivery. And then you'll see the generation side is also changed to EV2A. So you're on the same rate schedule on both the delivery and the generation portions of your bill.
Any other questions, anybody?
Does anyone have any questions about the TOUC transition? You got some folks that can answer those kind of questions too. You have us on the line. Any sorts of questions about that transition as well? We're happy to help out. So Sharon, thanks Sharon for asking. So what is the TOUC transition? So residential customers in Alameda County, Tracy, this isn't for you quite yet. City of Tracy, I don't know if we have any people named Tracy on the call. City of Tracy, this is for you in February of 2022. All of our folks in Alameda County, the state of California really is undergoing a massive change for residential utility customers to go to time of use rates. And so we are partnering with PG&E to help transition residential customers from a flat rate that may be where you're used to energy costs the same all year round. And it's tiered, meaning it gets a little bit more expensive as you use more energy. Everyone is being switched or defaulted. You can request to decline the transition to a time of use rate where energy prices are lower most of the time and higher between 4 and 9 p.m. So for Alameda County customers, this transition, this default happened in May of this year. So right now, we're being billed, most of us are being billed on time of use C, unless you were already on a time of use rate. If you were already on, let's say, TOUD or an EV rate. Otherwise, or a NEM customer, your transition schedule is a little different too. Otherwise, you were transitioned to this TOUC. Gabrielle has posted in the chat a link with more information on our website. If you are just hearing about this for the first time and really want to stay on your E1 rate, you can go back to do a rate schedule change. Go to pge.com and request for them to put your rate back to E1. But I would encourage anyone who maybe is hearing about this for the first time to check out our time of use website that Gabrielle just posted.
Looks like we have another question in the Q&A. It's from Suzanne Bowen. I have solar, so my understanding is that my bill is trued up every month. Is that correct? And yes, that's correct. So I won't get a true up annually for electric only? Question mark.
So Susan, this is a good NEM question. A little bit of a teaser to encourage everyone to go check out that video. Yes, EBCE does true up monthly. So rather than hold on to all of your charges and bill you once annually, we do bill you monthly. We also let those credits continue to accrue. So let's say right now you're going to start to accrue credits because it's summertime. You can then use all those credits up in the winter time. If you have anything left over, we'll cash you out in April. PG&E will continue to accrue your credits and debits, so to speak, over the course of the full year. So if you're typically a net user of energy and you typically were getting, let's say, a bill for $1,000 every year, you're probably going to get a bill for about $500 or $700, let's say, from PG&E, because your generation charges you've already paid for. but PG&E will continue to hold on to those charges, and they do their true up annually. PG&E bills for gas monthly, as far as I know. So you will continue to get a monthly gas bill and an annual, get a monthly gas bill, an annual electric delivery true up, and maybe a monthly generation charge if you were not a net generator and don't have any credits available.
Looks like we should end the webinar here. I'm glad everyone attended this webinar. If you have any additional questions or need clarification, please call our call center. The phone number is right there on the screen. They're a great resource to use. Again, they're open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on weekdays. This webinar will be posted on our website and our YouTube channel. If you'd like to view it again, maybe share it with your neighbors. Thank you for attending this webinar, and hope everyone has a great rest of the day. Thank you, everybody.